Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. So, we begin with a little bit of a kill compilation and later on a full gameplay in the F-89B, new battle rating 7.3 American jet fighter. It is a premium, and therefore one of the questions that I try to answer is this a good jet? I say that it isn't really a good jet that I would recommend you to get. Not because it's a bad jet, quite the opposite, but because it teaches you very bad habits, number one. Number two, some of this is shown here in the background. Number three, I expect this to get heavily nerfed in more than one ways, and I'll speak about this excessively. And it is in then some aspects also pretty tricky and a little bit frustrating, and also limited in its abilities when it comes to tank RB, because this is, in my opinion, just a pure air RB or sim or maybe even arcade plane, but not for tank RB. And again, I'm always really harsh and very suspicious about premium tanks, planes, ships, helicopters in War Thunder. Now, I just want to highlight here the following thing. Let's have a look at the reward. And this was one of the first games that I played. I think it was the second one. And it was already 4 kills. Later on, I tried for numerous battles to play really stupid and to just stretch the limits of what is possible. But for 4 kills, you can see I get, without any sort of booster, 120,000 silver lines and 28,000 RP, just with this as a premium account. And also, when you go stealth with the 20mm, you can pull off some really nice kills that the enemy doesn't expect. Now, let's talk about here the first thing, before I talk about the performance of this plane. This plane, in fact, is currently the joint highest when it comes to the civil line income. It has a civil line modifier of 2.7 times 2.0. I think we had something similar in the past with the Do 335 B2, which now sits at a significantly lower civil line modifier income, but that was before the civil line rework a few weeks or a month back. The next thing is, I expect this battle rating to either increase or the performance getting nerfed. When I talk here about the performance, I'm talking here about the power output of the engines, because they are really good. The weapons are also really good. The jet as a platform, for me personally, is not really enjoyable because it's a very big one with massive wings, so it's a very big hitting profile, but it's also like a whale. It doesn't really like to turn in many instances. There is a little bit of a sweet spot just below 750 kilometers per hour, where the plane then begins to turn significantly better than at very low speeds or very high speeds, where it goes into compression, and in a straight line you will rip your wings at 930 kilometers per hour, which you can easily reach even without web or the afterburner, as it should be said correctly, in a straight line. And especially in a dive, the plane sometimes accelerates frantically and you really have to control your speed. You can do this because you have highly effective air brakes, but this is something that you never really should fall back on in jet gameplay, because it drains your energy. But again, the overall engine output is so massive, the power to weight ratio as well, that this plane just can't get away with it. And again, it teaches you a bad habit. So what you should do is, and this is not shown in this gameplay, that you use your amazing climb rate, your energy retention in a straight line to just boom and zoom the enemy and put the stress on them, force them to evade. You can pull off some head-ons here and there because you have 6 20mm machine cannons of the M24A1 variety with 1200 rounds. That sounds quite a lot, but overall it's just 200 rounds per 20mm gun, and you can run through that very quickly, and I was extremely annoyed that at the last moment he pitched up and I missed my shot. I was really angry at this point, and I could have just extended significantly better. I forgot to ignite the afterburner. It doesn't matter. You can fly like the biggest retard, and this plane lets you sometimes get away with it versus the right position. Especially when I flew recently the Me-262, I came across this plane and I thought to myself, am I really that trash? Is the Me-262 really that bad? No, it's that plane's power output where it's just broken. It's nuts, it's busted. And this is where I think that this is again one of Gaijin's shenanigans, where they just present something that is overpowered, then there is all the hype going on, and then people buy it, and then later on, oh, comrade, varnish, oh, it's overpowered, let's nerf it, this has never happened in War Thunder so far, big shame on us, and they do this every patch. That's just Gaijin's business model, releasing broken stuff, being overpowered, and then nerfing it to shit, so that you then buy the next premium that they will release in the next update. Haven't we seen this all too often right there? And so this is not gonna be a rant as this plane would be worthy of, because then a lot of people say, oh, this YouTuber complains about this plane being too good. I better pick my credit card and buy it. And planes like these are really killing RRB sometimes for numerous patches at a certain battle rating range. For me, it is just quite impossible to play. And it's just a shame that now it has happened again in an area where we have the last of the World War II warbirds flying around and they get affected by this thing. The thing is this about this plane: it turns like a whale. It doesn't roll very nicely, and if you get jumped on, there is not that much that you can do, honestly. And in particular, when it comes to getting up tiered, there is not that much that you have. You have no rocket loadout, you have no bomb loadout, and I mean, the 20mm are good versus aircraft, but versus ground targets, they quickly come to an end in terms of effectiveness. Again, you can run through huge amounts of ammunition very quickly. So the plane has its strength and its weaknesses, but I myself find it unenjoyable to play with this plane, but I also don't really find any sort of enjoyment fighting against this. And it always depends what kind of enemy you face. It totally outclasses the Me-262 in the initial fight. But here is the thing. Funnily enough, planes like the Horton and the Arado C3 and also the Me-262 in theory can outrun it. Because as I said, you rip your wings on the deck at roughly 930 kilometers per hour. I mean, yes, you can turn around and land the aircraft on the airfield because it still flies at the speed, which again is, it shouldn't be, but it happened the same with the Me-262 that I had a look at just yesterday as I'm recording this. And so really, it's again one of those planes where I think to myself, this shouldn't be. And my aim is the worst, my flying is the worst, I'm really not enjoying myself in this aircraft, yet I'm getting kills, and very often I pity the enemy below me in the Me-262 or the Horton, because if I play it correctly, they never touch me. I'm untouchable in this thing if I play it correctly. But playing it that way is really trash. And this thing gets nerfed. Now, funnily enough, I was surprised by the performance of a lot of Kika players that were throwing their planes around in the sky. And also the Venom, I guess. So there is that as well. So the negative elevator also is kind of tricky because it stalls out the engines, by the way. So what I tried to say is this plane can turn from 550 to 730-ish, okay-ish when it comes to the elevator, but above 800 it very quickly goes into a lockup, and at 930 you rip your wings. You control it with your massive air brakes. The engine power output is amazing. I'm using very often 30 minutes of fuel, because with the afterburner you have twice the fuel consumption, so half the time. And even without that, it would be a very nice, decent plane. But with it, it's just busted, and that's sadly the status. Again, highest civil line income at the moment. Very good RP income as well. Effective grinder, yes, but it depends on if you want to use this plane only for one patch, because I expect this to get nerfed. I really do. In terms of civil line income, like the Do 335B2, like so many other planes out of nothing, and then also battle rating increase or engine performance reduction. And there you can see 115,000 silver lines and 18,000 RP for 3 kills and 3 assists without a booster and a premium account. So the plane gives you a nice reward, but again, I really expect this to get nerfed one way or the other. And I cannot tell you how stupid this thing is. It's just stupid. Do not buy it. That's it from me today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it nevertheless. If so, give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more. Let me know in the comment section as usual your thoughts and your tactics flying with and against it. And as usual, we will see each other on the waves, on the battlefields and in the skies of War Thunder.